Inner Sanctum was a very popular horror anthology that first aired on NBC in 1941, but later moved to CBS. Hosted by Raymond Johnson, the show featured stories of unimaginable thrills, horror, and mystery. Unlike other horror-based series during that time, the show had a tongue-in-cheek, playful style which made America laugh just before they screamed, until 1952. The masters of the creaking door were able to produce a total of 526 spine-chilling episodes for our amusement. Radio Gold is proud to present the Inner Sanctum Mysteries.
Boris Karloff on Inner Sanctum Mystery. Brought to you by the makers of Carter's Tales.
Good evening, friends. Let me welcome you once more to the Inner Sanctum. This is Raymond, your host. Come in, won't you, and sit down? No, I'm not being polite. I'd prefer you to sit, you see, because within the next 5 minutes, you're going to be so weak in the knees that you won't be able to stand.
Inner Sanctum Mysteries again has the pleasure of bringing you the famous star of radio, screen, and stage, now featured in the current Broadway success, Arsenic and Old Lace, Boris Karloff. This evening, Mr. Karloff appears in Robert Newman's dramatization of Edgar Allan Poe's famous story, The Telltale Heart. Presented for your entertainment by the makers of Carter's Little Liver Pill, the best friend to your sunny disposition.
And now our story. A story based on a tale by the greatest master of the macabre that ever lived, Edgar Allan Poe. The story of a man who could hear not only every sound on earth, but even things that don't exist. So, turn down the lights, call in a friend or neighbor to keep you company, and listen to Boris Karloff as Simon in A Telltale Heart. It's early evening. The sun is just setting behind a range of low hills. On top of the nearest hill is a huge rambling building surrounded by park-like grounds. A road winds from its gates down to the little village below. Down this road comes a man. He's tall, gaunt, his hair snow white. He's so busy with his thoughts that he doesn't see the small, dark man who sits by the roadside. But just as he is about to pass him...
Good evening.
Huh? Oh, why, good evening.
Nice evening, isn't it?
Nice. Why, it's the most wonderful, perfect evening I'll ever know this side of heaven.
You don't say.
And you can't know what it's like to feel as if you've just risen from the dead. As if your tomb was opened. And you were told that you could return to the world that you knew and loved.
Can't I?
You can't. You see, my name is Simon. I was a musician. 2 years ago, I went stone deaf. Suddenly. Completely. Do you know what deafness means to a musician? It's like dying. Or worse. Like dying and knowing that you're dead. Oh, I went to doctors, but they could do nothing for me. But finally, one of them sent me to see the doctor who has the place up on the hill here.
Dr. Adair?
Yes, Dr. Adair. He kept me with him for 6 months, and now I'm going home again.
He cured you? You can hear?
Hear? Listen. Listen hard, and tell me what you can hear right now.
Nothing very much. The wind. Cricket.
Cricket and the wind. Do you know what I can hear? I can hear the grass growing, the sap rising in the trees. I can hear the stars moving in their courses. I can hear things that no man ever heard before. Now, do you know why I said that this was the most wonderful evening that ever was?
Yes, Simon. But I knew why before. You see, I just left the place up on the hill myself.
You left there? You mean...
When I was taken there, I was blind.
Oh, your eyes, yes. I hadn't noticed before, but they are strange. Shall we walk on together?
Simon? Just where did you plan to go?
Well, I've been thinking about that for weeks now. All the weeks when I couldn't leave my room. I must get used to being able to hear again, gradually. From my window, I could see an old mill, just this side of the village.
Yes, it's deep in the woods, deserted. There's moss on the water wheel, and the door hangs open by one hinge.
You mean that you can see it from here?
My eyes have become as good as your hearing. You thought of going there, living there?
For a while, until I was ready to return to the world. Oliver, why don't you come with me? Then when we are both ready, we can go back together to the world.
Yeah, I could do that.
Think of what it's going to mean, how much we're going to be able to help people. You with your sight and I with my hearing.
Help them? Yes. Yes, of course. All right, Simon. We'll go to your old mill.
This way, Oliver. Up this path.
Ozzy! Someone's coming.
The farmer, he seems to be looking for something.
Good evening. I'm looking for my cow. Have you seen her?
Well, what kind of a cow is she?
A brown and a white one with a crooked horn.
Wait. I hear her. She's grazing in a field on the other side of the woods.
Hear her? That's almost a mile from here.
I have good ears.
Good. You must have ears like a fox. But that field, that's the squire's. How did she get there?
You think someone took her? Who would?
Well, it's the squire's land, but he's the richest man around here. Why should he have taken my cow?
Wait a minute. Let me see. Yes. Yes, I do see someone with your cow. He's just leaving her.
You can see that? Right through the woods?
I have good eyes.
Who is it? What's he like? Is he tall, wearing a brown jacket?
Yes.
I knew it. It's the squire. He's trying to steal my cow. I'd better go get her. Thank you very much. Perhaps I'll see you both again.
Perhaps. We'll both be staying around here for a while there in the old mill.
Why did you tell him that, Oliver? Did you really see the squire taking his cow?
I saw what he wanted me to see.
What do you mean?
He hates the squire because the squire's rich and he's poor.
But what?
Never mind, Simon. Shall we go on to the mill?
Here we are. And it's just the way I knew it would be. Quiet, peaceful, no noises, just sound. And even those are dulled by the waterfall.
Yes, it's just the way I knew it would be, too. Dark, dank. The home of the rats and spiders. We'll be happy living here with them.
Happy with rats and spiders? Why?
Because they're like me. Rats see in the dark, and spiders spin webs.
I don't understand you, Oliver. Must you always see the worst, the most evil side of everything?
Always.
But why? Don't you love people? Don't you think that this is a good world?
A good world when I was blind for more than 2 years?
But whose fault was that?
What difference does that make? I was blind. And did anyone care that I was? No. Love people. I hate them.
But, Oliver, that's wrong. You've no right to hate anyone or anything.
What's that?
It sounds like wings, like... Yes, there it is, there. A swallow. Why, it's frightened, trying to get out. Why, it's beating itself against the wall and... Oh, poor thing, it's hurt itself. fallen to the ground. I'd better catch it.
Is it badly hurt?
No, I don't think so. Oh, just this one wing.
Here, let's see. Perhaps we can put a splint on it, heal it.
Do you think so? Here, Oliver. But be gentle. It's still terribly frightened.
I will.
Oh, Oliver! What are you doing to that bird? Blood, you crushed the swallow, killed it.
I so it has.
You killed it deliberately.
You think so? I told you we all have some badness deep inside us. Even you. Here you are ready to believe the worst of me, that I'd wantonly crush a harmless little sparrow to death and... Simon.
What is it?
I don't know, but there's something in your face. Something that wasn't there before.
I don't know what you're talking about. I'm going up to bed.
Simon! Simon, wait!
It wasn't he that was blind. It was I. Oh, he is bad, evil, clean through. He's like one of the spiders he loved so much, lurking here and spinning cunning webs to catch innocent people in. And what he saw in my face just now, there was something there. Something that wasn't there before. Death. Why did this have to happen to me? I was so happy just a little while ago. I loved everyone, the whole world. And now I have to kill him.
And here I am, friend, Raymond, your host in the Inner Sanctum, who also loves everyone. So, Simon has decided he must murder his companion. Not because he wants to, but in order to keep him from spreading the hate and evil he seems to love. That's a charming idea. But if Oliver's eyes are as good as he says they are, good enough to see death in Simon's face, how will he be able to do it, Quite a problem, isn't it?
Well, Raymond, everyone has problems. It's the answer that counts.
It certainly does, Mr. Hurley, in a mystery drama.
Yes, and in a domestic drama, too. If you don't believe it, listen to what Agnes Vale says to her husband at the dinner table.
Oh, Bob, you haven't said a word about the cake, and I baked it especially for your birthday.
After 30, no one wants to be reminded of birthdays.
Oh, that's silly. Besides, a person's only as old as they feel.
Well, if that was the case, I'd be about 60.
You mean 90. No one could save up the grouch you've got in only 60 years.
If you felt as irritable, low, and out of sorts as I have lately, you'd be grouchy, too.
Of course I would. Anybody would. So the thing to do is not to feel that way.
What can anyone do about it?
Very simple, my dear. Try Carter's little liver pills.
Right, and when you don't feel good, try Carter's Little Liver Pills. They do the work of calomel but have no calomel in them, for they are simple pills made of vegetable drugs. They wake up the flow of one of our most vital digestive juices. When this vital juice flows at the rate of 2 pints a day, it helps to digest our food and bring back the glorious feeling that goes with regularity. Then most folks feel like happy days are here again. But be sure you get the genuine Carter's Little Liver Pill.
Well, friends, are you sorry I advised you to sit down before? I thought not. You still want me to go on with the story of the Telltale Heart? Very well. It's a little later that same evening, and Simon is sitting in the upper story of the old deserted mill, waiting, listening.
Sleep, Oliver, sleep. Aren't you ever going to sleep? Oh, I know you're lying down. I heard you getting undressed. I even heard the thread snap when you pulled that button off your shirt. But you're not asleep yet. I can tell by your breathing, the way your heart's beating. And that's what I must wait for. The time when you're really asleep. When you close those hawk eyes that can see even in the dark. That could read murder in my face when I didn't know it was there myself. Wait a minute. There. Now you're asleep. And now I must go. Easy with the door. Careful. And even more careful going down the stairs. Don't creak like that. Suppose he wakes. No, he can't. He won't wake up. He can't. And even if he does... here we are. The door to his room. How shall I do it? Those sacks he's using as a pillow. Shall I pull them out and held them over his face and smothered him? That's it, yes. And then I wouldn't have to touch him. I wouldn't.
Who's that? Who's there? There is someone there. I can see you. It's Simon.
Yes, it's Simon.
What do you want? What are you doing here? I know you've come to kill me.
Yes, Oliver. I've come to kill you.
Philip, you can't do that. You can't.
Yes, Oliver, I can. And I have to. Oh, please don't struggle like that. I'm stronger than you are. You can't get away from me. You can't. You can't. That noise. Hear it? It's your heart. Beating, pounding, driving the blood through your veins. It's beating more slowly now. Slower and fainter. Running down like a tired clock. And I'm not going to let you go until it's stopped. So don't struggle. Don't struggle, please. Just a few seconds more. I can hardly hear it now. Just a faint, throbbing murmur. And now, even that's gone. Yes, it's stopped. And you're dead. Oliver, listen. I didn't want to do it. I didn't, but I had to. You were only interested in hurting people. That's why I had to do it. And that's why I'm not going to give myself up or confess that I killed you, because I can still help people. You understand, don't you? That's why I must get rid of your body, hide it somewhere. Oh, what am I to do with you? I know. I'll keep you here, tear up the floor and hide you underneath it. Let's see now, this crowbar. And this one here, there. That should be big enough. And now, in you go. Goodbye, Oliver. Goodbye. Just put these boards back. Nail them down again with the same rusty nails. And it's done. Now I'll spread this dust over the cracks. No one will be able to tell what I've done. No, not even with your eyes. If you could still use them. What's that? A light. A lantern outside. Someone at the door. Maybe Christie's come back again. Yes? Who is it?
It's Trent, the constable.
The constable? What do you want?
Oh, nothing much. Thought I'd drop in. Say hello.
Come in, constable. Come right in.
Thanks. Queer time of night to be visiting, but I heard there were strangers living out here, and I thought I might...
Why, of course, it's part of your job to investigate strangers, isn't it?
In a way. Not that you're a stranger, exactly.
What do you mean?
Well, you've been around here for some time, haven't you? Up at Dr. Adair's place in the hill, I mean?
Oh, yes, of course. I just left there this afternoon.
Uh-huh. And your friend, where's he? Sleeping?
Friend? Why, there's no one here with me. I'm all alone.
What the doctor said. You mind if I look around?
No, of course not.
Not that I doubt your word or anything like that.
Oh, no, don't apologize, Constable. Go right ahead. Well, Constable?
There's certainly no sign of anyone else.
Well, I told you so.
Yes, you did. Now, I'll just sit down here for a minute. I'll get my pipe going.
No, not there. Don't sit there.
Why not?
Because, well, it was just that the floor looked a little rotten right there, and I was afraid that... Oh, I guess it's all right.
Sure. Strong enough to hold me, anyway.
Don't step on it like that, you... Good heavens. What's that?
What's what?
That throbbing. That noise. Beating away like...
I don't hear any noise.
But you must, you... Ah, those ears of mine. Sometimes they're too good. It's just your watch ticking.
Watch? I haven't got a watch on me.
You haven't? But then what? Oh, look, Constable, I could use a bit of exercise. Suppose I walk you back to the village.
Well, that's mighty nice of you. I'm glad to have your company. But there's no hurry, is there? Just let's sit here for a while.
I don't want to sit. Constable, will you come now? Now, this minute. If you don't, I don't know what I'll do.
Hey, you have gotten yourself into a state. Is anything the matter?
No, of course not. It's just that I get nervous, restless, and you won't mind if I walk up and down right here, will you?
If it'll make you feel any better, go ahead.
Thank you. This floor, it is noisy, isn't it? It isn't noisy enough. Constable, this lever here, I've been wondering about it. What's it for, do you know?
Oh, yes. I think it opens the sluice, starts the mill wheel turning.
It does? Then let's try it. See if it still works. There.
Yeah, still works all right. It's quite a racket, too.
Still not loud enough. Still. Constable, for heaven's sake, will you come now? Leave here with me. If you don't, I'll go back.
Look, there's no need to get so excited.
I'm not excited. I'm perfectly calm and quiet. Will you come now, right away?
But I told you.
I know what you're doing. Sitting there, pretending you haven't heard, making me stay here and listen to it, beating louder and louder and louder. All right, I confess. I killed him. His body is right underneath you under the floor. I killed him. And that noise you hear is his heart. The beating of his telltale heart.
Hello, Dr. Adair.
Oh, Constable, hello. Well, did you find them?
Yes, Doctor. I'm glad. Some of my boys will be bringing the other one, Oliver, along in a little while.
Bringing him? What's the matter with him?
Well, sort of. They were in the old mill by the river. Simon had evidently tried to kill Oliver, but he hadn't done a good job of it. He nailed him up underneath the floor. And when we got him out, he was unconscious. And he's still pretty weak.
I see. Bring Simon in, will you?
Sure. All right, Simon. In here.
Yes, Constable?
Now, turn him around so that he's facing me. That's it. Well, hello, Simon.
Hello, Doctor.
Simon, why did you run away from here this afternoon?
Run away? I didn't run away. I left. What need was there for me to stay when I was cured?
Oh. And what you did, or rather tried to do to Oliver?
That was wrong. I know it was wrong, but I had to do it. He was bad, Doctor, bad. He hated everyone, wanted to hurt them, and I couldn't let him.
You know, it's strange, Constable. 2 men, both mental cases because of a sudden affliction. But while Oliver's blindness made him hate, Simon's deafness filled him with love for all mankind.
Deafness? You mean he's deaf? But when you talk to him, he answers you.
Yes, he reads lips. That's why I had you turn him around, so he was facing me. But he's stone deaf. He will never hear again.
What's that you're saying? Deaf? But I'm not deaf. Why, there's no one can hear better than I. No one. I heard everything when I left here. Things no man has ever heard before. The song of the swan. The breathing of the fish. Why, I even heard the beating of Oliver's heart. After I'd killed him.
Yes, Simon, of course.
I'm not deaf, I tell you. I'm not. I'm not.
So, Simon did hear all the things he said he did. Even the beating of the telltale heart. And not with his ears, but with something else deep inside his poor, sick brain. Speaking of telltale heart, I saw it's not a heart at all. It's just Mr. Herlihy's knees knocking together.
And if you think you're kidding, Raymond, you're crazy.
Oh, I'm not kidding, Ed. In Mr. Karloff's audiences, that's the equivalent of applause. Since everyone's generally much too scared to show the usual approval with their hands. So we won't take any chances. We'll just use words and say, thanks, Boris Karloff, for your splendid performance of tonight's dramatization of Poe's The Telltale Heart.
It was a pleasure, Raymond, to be able to bring our friends one of the world's most famous stories. And I'm very grateful to Everett Sloane as Oliver and Santos Ortiaga, who played Christie, for the help that they gave me. So now I suggest that you listen to Ed Herlihy, who has some helpful advice for which you may be very grateful.
This is Raymond again, your host, getting ready to close that door to the Inner Sanctum and say goodnight until the same time next week. In the meantime, if you care to do a little bloodthirsty reading, try this month's Inner Sanctum novel, I'll Eat You Last, by H.C. Brandon. In case you've already read that, why not try some of the other stories by the author of tonight's mystery drama, Edgar Allan Poe? According to all critics, this writer has quite a future. Have a good night. Pleasant dreams, huh?
Inner Sanctum Mysteries will be on the air again next Sunday night, same station, same time, with another chiller for thriller fans. So be with us then. This is Ed Herlihy, speaking for the makers of Carter's Little Liver Pills and reminding you, when you don't feel good, try Carter's Little Liver Pills, the best friend to your sunny disposition. This is the Blue Network of the National Broadcasting Company.
Let's take a short intermission. Nero Wolfe made his larger-than-life radio show debut on July 5, 1943. This intelligent detective show, based on the Rex Stout novels, proved to be a natural for classic radio. Throughout the show's run, Santos Ortega, Louis Van Rooten, Francis X. Bushman, and Sidney Greenstreet all filled the voluminous chair of Nero Wolfe. As well, a large assortment of actors played the part of every blonde's hero, Archie Goodwin. The Adventures of Nero Wolfe show remained popular on the airwaves in different versions for 8 years, from 1943 to 1951. In a few seconds, we'll return with another exciting episode of The Inner Sanctum. Stay tuned.
Inner Sanctum Mysteries, starring Peter Lorre, brought to you by Carter's Little Liver Pills. Before we open the squeaking door on Inner Sanctum this evening, here's a message the government would like to have passed on to you. Women are urgently needed now in war plants and essential industries. There are all kinds of war jobs which don't involve machinery or tools, such as driving a bus or taxi, working in a laundry, restaurant, school, or day nursery. And in filling these jobs, women are relieving men for heavier work. Ladies, if you live in an area where there's a shortage of war workers, go to the office of the United States Employment Service nearest your home at once. The address is in your local telephone book. But remember, do not move to a crowded war center in search of a job. It will only add to the housing and living problem already existing there. Your first and only necessary step to volunteer your services in a war job is to visit your local United States Employment Service office. Get yourself a war job and hasten the day of victory. And now we open the squeaking door.
Good evening, friends of the Inner Sanctum. This is Raymond, your host. I'm glad you came tonight because we have a very special guest of horror with us. I'd like you to meet the late Johnny Gravestone, the most celebrated member of the Inner Sanctum Ghost Society. He is the best haunter of them all. Johnny is the tall figure in the white sheet wearing the blue ribbon. He's haunted everything, from a palace to a telephone booth. And if you're very nice to him, he'll be glad to consider giving your house the once-over. Who knows? He may even haunt you.
Tonight's Inner Sanctum story, The Black Seagull, is an original radio drama by Sigmund Miller and stars Peter Lorre in the role of Richard Blake. It's produced under the direction of Hyman Brown. Inner Sanctum Mysteries are brought to you by Carter's Little Liver Pills. When you feel dull, headachy, sluggish, take Carter's two-way treatment to, first, start your liver bile flowing quickly. Second, get comfortable relief from irregularity.
Well, we're about to begin our story. I forgot to warn you about the tremblins. They're those pesky, invisible cousins of the gremlins. They sidle up to you, give you quick little shoves, and create the false impression that you're trembling. If you're being troubled by a tremblin, just grab him by his invisible little horns and stick him into the nearest pincushion. Dusk is settling fast along the Carolina coast. A few miles out at sea, a motorboat rides through the choppy waters. Dr. Griffin and Richard Blake are frantically scanning the horizon, looking for Richard's wife, Barbara, who's lost in the sailboat.
It's getting dark, Richard.
We've got to find her before nightfall.
Perhaps she's gotten back home by now. We've been gone for over an hour.
The mast was loose in the sailboat. It would never hold out in that wind. Barbara is in a disabled boat.
We haven't much gasoline left.
I'm not going back until we find her.
The only thing we can do is call the Coast Guard.
Did you hear that, Dr. Griffin?
Yes. Seagulls.
Sounded like a human cry.
Oh, no, it's only the gulls, Richard.
Listen.
It's the same sound.
No. This is no bird cry. That was Barbara.
That was the cry of a seagull. See? He's right above us. A black seagull.
Black gull. Completely black. It's an ominous sign. Something has happened to Barbara.
Oh, come now. I hope you don't believe in that superstitious nonsense.
Look. Over there. Do you see it?
It looks like a boat.
It's Barbara. The mast. The mast is down.
We'd better get over there fast. Here. Help me put her on the couch.
Dr. Griffin, please, you've got to do something.
I'll do everything I can. Pretty bad. Concussion.
The mast. It must have come loose and struck her. Please, Dr. Griffin, you've got to bring her back.
She may come to any second. Or she may never come out of it.
No. It isn't true.
I wish it weren't. Her skull is crushed. The injury is a fatal one.
No. It's only a surface wound. Perhaps an operation. We can get her to a hospital. Look, she's coming to.
Please, Richard. There isn't a chance.
Richard.
Yes, darling.
Oh, it wasn't my fault. The mast, it broke in the wind.
Don't talk, my darling.
I'm so sorry, Richard. Don't be unhappy.
You're going to be all right. Dr. Griffin says you're going to recover.
No.
You've got to hold on, darling. We'll get you to a hospital.
You've been so good to me, darling. We've been very happy together.
You can't leave me, Barbara. I won't live without you.
Oh, you mustn't say that.
If you die, Barbara, I don't want to live.
I'll always be near you. I'll come back if it's possible.
You must come back. You must. If you don't, I'll come to you.
No, I'll return, Richard. I'll return. Richard, Oh.
She's gone. The men are ready to lower the coffin, Richard. You wish to pay your final respect.
Final respect? This isn't the end. It's the beginning. Do you understand? The beginning. Barbara isn't gone. She'll come back. She said so.
No, Richard. No one comes back from the grave. It's dangerous to believe that. Dangerous for your sanity.
She'll come back. She didn't lie.
All right, men. Lower the body.
Did you hear that?
Yes. The seagulls again.
That wasn't a seagull. I told you. That was Barbara's voice.
Please, Richard. It's only a gull.
No. It's her. She's calling to me. She promised to return. You see, Barbara didn't fail me.
You must stop this, Richard. You'll wind up in an asylum.
You're a fool, Dr. Griffin.
Lower the coffin,
That was
then.
her voice. No. Don't lower it. That sound came from the coffin. She might even be alive.
She's dead, Richard.
I want that coffin opened.
We can't do that, Richard. There's no way of opening it now.
We'll pry it open. Don't try to stop me, Dr. Griffin.
All right. We'll open it. Here, one of you men. Break the seals at the top of the coffin.
For heaven's sakes, hurry.
It will only be worse for you, Richard, if you look at poor Barbara again.
Will you tell the man to hurry?
The coffin's opened, Richard. Now you can see for yourself.
Look at her face.
Her face?
You wouldn't believe me. Look at her mouth. As if she had just called my name.
Who is there?
Dr. Griffin.
Come in. The door is open.
Oh. You took me by surprise, Richard. I didn't expect you to be sitting so close to the door.
I'm sorry I startled you, Dr. Griffin.
I just thought I'd drop in before I went to bed. Are you waiting for someone?
Yes, I am.
Oh, what are you sitting in the dark for? Where's the light switch?
I don't want any light. I prefer sitting in the dark.
Richard, you're becoming very morbid. Don't you think you ought to get to bed? It's nearly midnight.
Midnight? Yes. That's the time she'll come back.
You really believe Barbara will come back?
Yes. I'm sure she will.
Well, we'll see.
She'll come.
If she does, it will only be in your mind.
Please be quiet.
Well?
Barbara, you've come. She's here. I know she's here. Oh, darling, you've kept your promise.
Richard, stop it. Where's the light switch?
Put that light out.
It was nothing. The wind opened the door. It was just a coincidence that happened at the stroke of midnight. I didn't close the door properly when I came in.
She was here. I felt her cheek on mine.
You imagined it.
Imagined it. Look, Dr. Griffin. Look at my cheek. My cheek. A teardrop fell on my cheek.
It's not a teardrop. It's the rain. The wind blew some rain in through the open door.
It wasn't the rain. Barbara was here. If you hadn't put on the lights, I would have seen her.
Barbara, some people do come back from the grave. I heard about such cases.
Richard.
Barbara, it's you.
Yes,
it's
darling.
you.
It's me. I promise never to leave you.
I was about to give up. I was beginning to lose hope. How good it is to see you again.
Yes, darling. It's very good. I've been trying to come back.
Then it was you who opened the door at midnight.
Yes, Richard.
And it was your tears that fell on my cheek. Wasn't the rain, as Dr. Griffin said?
Yes, Richard.
But I couldn't see you then. I just felt your cheek against mine.
It was very hard to return at all.
What is that noise?
I don't hear anything, Richard.
That sound disturbs me. It makes me uneasy.
You're asleep. Fast asleep. Perhaps the sound will fade away. Look at me, Richard.
I can see you much more clearly.
And the sound?
It's fading out.
Perhaps we'll never be separated again.
So good to be with you again. Let me hold your hand.
Wait.
Why do you say that?
It's not yet time.
What do you mean?
You haven't crossed over yet. Can you still hear the banging?
Oh, just a little. Barbara, don't go away.
I can't help it. Someone's dragging you away.
Don't let him. I don't want to go back.
I'll try to come back again, Richard.
I don't want to go back. I want to stay with you.
Goodbye, Richard.
Richard! Richard! Wake up! Wake up! Good thing I heard the shutters banging. I came in to see what was making all this noise.
You shouldn't have wakened me.
This box of pills. You took an overdose of these sleeping tablets. If I hadn't awakened you, you would have slept on until eternity.
Barbara came for me. She was just about to take my hand.
Perhaps if she had, you'd never have gotten up.
I didn't want to get up. I wanted to be with Barbara forever.
Well, Dr. Griffin should be awarded the Order of the Inner Sanctum for saving the life of Richard Blake. If it weren't for the good man, our story would have come to an end in the middle of the program. And that would have been very inconvenient for all of us. As a reward, perhaps we'll just wound Dr. Griffin a little bit instead of polishing him off. But until we make up our minds, here's a gentleman with an important message for you.
To keep you feeling on top of the world, medical knowledge proves that nature should produce about 2 pints of liver bile, the vital digestive juice your liver makes, each day. Otherwise, your food may not digest properly and leave you feeling dull, headachy, sluggish. Scientific facts show it takes a two-way treatment to get the vital digestive juice flowing quickly and to relieve sluggishness without disturbing digestion. Therefore, do as thousands now do. Take Carter's Little Liver Pills. First, because Carters start the vital digestive juice flowing, usually within 30 minutes. Second, because Carters gently help you to that glorious feeling that goes with regularity. Remember, many ordinary simple laxatives don't, but Carter's Little Liver Pills do give this two-way treatment. So take genuine Carter's Little Liver Pills as directed tonight. Tomorrow, see if you don't wake up feeling glad to be alive. Get Carter's at any drugstore. 25 cents.
Now we're ready to continue with our strange story. I hope you've all made yourselves comfortable. If it's too warm for you, we'll be glad to chill you a bit. Or if it's too cold, we'll be glad to make it hot for you. As a matter of fact, from now on, you'll get it both hot and cold. The following evening.
Barbara, you must come back to me. Barbara. Barbara. Can you hear me? Perhaps she can't get in. She said it was hard for her to come back. I'll open the door. Barbara. For a moment, there was a shadowy figure at the door. I did see something. She's here. Oh, it's you, Kitty. Barbara's pet. Haven't seen you since Barbara died. Come here, Kitty. Whom are you looking at? Barbara!
Richard.
Where are you?
Right here.
Your voice is so faint.
Come closer. Come closer.
I don't know where you are.
The closet where I used to keep my clothes.
Darling, I still can't see you.
This blue taffeta dress. My favorite. I used to love the rustling sound it made when I walked.
It still crinkles. Like it always did.
Richard.
Where are you? Please don't go away.
Right here. My vanity table.
For heaven's sake, Barbara, let me see you again.
My perfumes. They're all here.
Nothing has been touched, darling.
Here's my favorite. Wild heather. I'll never wear it again.
Barbara, please don't go. Where are you?
I'm everywhere in this room. Everywhere.
Why can't I see you?
Perhaps you will. We must both try. We must both try very hard.
I'll try, Barbara.
Goodbye, my darling.
No, not yet. Just another moment.
Goodbye, Richard.
Barbara. Barbara. She's gone. She's gone. Only you and I know she was here. Who is there? Oh, it's you, Dr. Griffin.
I came back to see how you were.
I don't need any help.
I heard you shouting Barbara's name.
You were mistaken, Dr. Griffin.
Barbara's dress. It's lying over the chair. Did you take it out of the closet?
No, Dr. Griffin.
The perfume's in the air. Oh, yes. There's a bottle of perfume overturned on the vanity table. Wild heather. That was Barbara's favorite, wasn't it?
Yes, Dr. Griffin.
You think Barbara was here? Don't you, Richard?
Huh? She was here. I spoke to her. And she'll come again. She said she would. And maybe the next time I'll be able to see Barbara. See her as she was when she was alive.
I know you don't want visitors, Richard, but you shouldn't be alone. I brought Miss Driscoll with me to look after you.
How do you do, Mr. Blake?
Barbara will be here soon.
You haven't been eating. You've lost a lot of weight. Richard!
Yes, Dr. Griffin?
You've got to listen to me.
There's nothing you can tell me.
You won't last at this rate. Look at you. Pale and lifeless. You're still alive, but you're living among the dead. Well, you've got to stop this. If you don't, you'll wind up in an asylum.
An asylum? You still don't believe Barbara had come back?
No, Richard. She hasn't come back.
You saw for yourself the other night. Her dress, her perfumes. She came back. I spoke to her.
You took the dress out of the closet yourself, and it was you who overturned the bottle of perfume.
You are lying, Dr. Griffin. It wasn't me. You're trying to come between us. I won't let you. I won't. Barbara!
Richard, I've come back.
Darling, I can see you.
Get me my bag in the hall, Miss Driscoll. Hurry.
I can see you very clearly now.
Do I look any different?
No. You're even lovelier than ever.
Richard.
We've got to meet each other halfway.
Richard.
Yes, darling. I've been trying. I tried very hard.
I've brought some friends. They all want to meet you.
Friends?
Yes. This is Fred Rankin. You remember him.
Hello, Fred.
How do you do, Richard? I'm Fred Rankin.
But you're dead.
Yes. I've been dead for 6 years.
And this is Mr. Fielding. Remember him? He was your neighbor once, killed by an automobile.
Yes. I've been dead for a long time. Ever since you were a young boy, Richard.
And this is Mary Schofield, the girl you went to school with.
Barbara! Barbara, watch out. The mast. It's falling. It's falling.
Richard, help me. Help me. Help me.
It's Barbara. It's Barbara. She's out there in a boat. The mast is gone. I've got to save her before it's too late.
You're not going anywhere. There's no one calling you. Nurse, help me get him back into bed.
Let me go! Let me go!
You're staying here with me.
Let me go!
Come back!
Come back, Richard!
Well,
Well, he couldn't have swum very far in this short time, Dr. Griffin.
I caught sight of him just a moment ago.
Oh, there he is.
Yes, I see him.
Yes, but he's going down. He's going down. Merciful heavens. Did you see?
Yes, he's gone down.
But he was holding someone. I could see her long black hair.
It's no use. We'll never... You say he was holding someone?
Yes. It looked like a woman. She had long black hair.
It must have been seaweed. You see things in this twilight that don't exist. Imagination is like fire. A good servant, but a bad master. I guess we had better get back.
Well, Dr. Griffin lost the good fight. Mm-hmm. He was gull crazy. But that was no gull. That was Richard's wife. Anyway, the Inner Sanctum Ghost Society is mad at Dr. Griffin because he's interfering with the drive for new members. Say, by the way, if you should hear the wild cry of birds in your next dream, don't be alarmed. It's just that spring is on its way. Be sure to read this month's Inner Sanctum mystery novel, The Smell of Money, by Matthew Head, on sale at all bookshops.
It's enough to make you shudder when you see what a boy or a girl can put in his or her stomach. Things you know would lay you low. Yet they bounce out of bed in the morning just a raring to go. That's youth for you. Yet thousands of people who should feel terrible tomorrow morning, considering the way they've insulted their digestive systems this weekend, may feel like a million tomorrow morning. Because tonight, they're going to act on a piece of advice from the Book of Medical Knowledge. For medical knowledge proves that nature should produce about 2 pints of the vital digestive juice your liver makes each day. Otherwise, your food may not digest properly and leave you feeling dull, headachy, sluggish. Scientific facts show it takes a two-way treatment to get the vital digestive juice flowing quickly and to relieve sluggishness without disturbing digestion. Therefore, do as thousands now do. Take Carter's Little Liver Pills to get this two-way treatment you may need. First, Carter start the vital digestive juice flowing, usually within 30 minutes. Second, Carter's gently help you to that glorious feeling that goes with regularity. Remember, many ordinary simple laxatives don't, but Carter's Little Liver Pills do give this two-way treatment. So take genuine Carter's Little Liver Pills as directed tonight. Tomorrow, see if you don't wake up feeling glad to be alive. Get Carter's at any drugstore. 25 cents.
Be sure to listen next week, for lovely Judith Evelyn will be back with us again in a sweet little story, just full of beautiful murder. Well, now it's time to close the squeaking door of the Inner Sanctum until next week. So, good night. Pleasant dreams.
Inner Sanctum comes to you from New York. This is the Blue Network.
Radio Gold is a 3 Nines Fine radio production. See you next time.